such an impactful season. What he meant to our end result was certainly notable. The way in which he operated on a daily, weekly basis was really cool to watch and observe. He committed himself to being the best version. The connection between him, the coaching staff was real.
Devin Lloyd picked it off. He's running it back to the 25. Still on his feet. Pulled to the ground inside the 15-yard line. What a play by Devin Lloyd. He takes it away.
A little bit more on the quieter side early, getting to know him, and then you talk to him and you hear a very mature dude, and just he had specific goals that he wanted to accomplish this season, and I thought he attacked it in the exact right way.
Ball fumble. The ball came out and the Jags have it. The ball came out and Devin Lloyd has it. It was a fumble and went right to Devin Lloyd, and the Jags take over. What a gigantic play by the Jaguars defense.
To me, he's just he's a true three-down linebacker. He has a very unique skill set in that he could play on the edge, early down. If you lined him up, outside as an open 5 technique on a tackle or a 9 technique on a tight end, he can do a really good job there, setting the edge, zone drop, and all that stuff. He can play off the ball early down because he sees it pretty good. He can run and hit. He does a good job in the pass coverage.
Devin Lloyd, the takeaway machine, got another one inside the 30 of the San Francisco 49ers.
He entered camp in a position battle. And he wasn't gifted that linebacker position, even though he was a first-round draft pick a couple of years ago. Devin Lloyd has been incredible.
He should probably be Defensive Player of the Year. His impact has been unfathomably important for this team.
That's not just a depoy argument right there. That is an MVP argument.
The ball came out. The ball came out, and everybody's trying to jump on top of this. Let's see who's got it. Jacksonville football. Devin Lloyd's got the ball.
I just want to be where God wants me to be. At the end of the day, that's where I want to be, and I'm waiting on that answer from him. Like I said, I haven't put any thought to it. Everything's been, about trying to be the best player I can be for this team this year, and ultimately, I want to be where God wants me to be.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome into Jaguars Today. And yes, the aforementioned are all here. Devin Lloyd's still here. I count him still as a Jacksonville Jaguar, Tony, at least for the time being. Free agency has not opened up, and we don't know ultimately what will happen. But let's welcome in our third host today, or fourth, as the case may be, with Jamal St. from Channel 4 joining us in studio this morning.
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me in here.
Round of applause, man. We started having you on last year, really for the first time on Jaguars Today, and I know Tony had you fill in for some shows when I was out on vacation, and we certainly appreciate your availability. First time we've shared a studio, though.
Yeah, this is the first time I've been with a full house. Come on now.
It's a big day for me right here,
it's like
Jamal.
A party.
We hope it is. So today we're going to ask you to bring whatever kind of off-season questions you've got to the table for Jamal, and we'll talk about the full gamut of what the Jaguars are facing. But I told you that I would ask you this to start things off today. If you had to boil it down to one biggest off-season question for this football team, what is that question?
They got to fill the holes on the defense. Defense at this point, you got a bunch of free agents, whether it be Devin Lloyd, whether it be Buster Brown, whether it's Greg Newsome. You got a lot of question marks on that defense. And if you look at how the Seahawks were able to win the Super Bowl, what they did, creating pressure with that front four, defensive tackle is one of the biggest weaknesses on this team. You got to find a way to get a little bit better there. And you got to get better in the secondary because those two work in tandem. So there's places that they got to improve on that defensive side of the football, and a lot of questions that got to get answered this offseason.
I think that answer presumes that maybe some of those free agents are not going to be back, or maybe they could be ones who fill the hole that they left behind, right, to kind of plug that back up. Do you think the fan base realizes how much turnover could potentially be in store for this defense this year?
I don't think so. Look, I think that this team, we kind of looked at it at one point midway through the season and said, man, this could be a real different football team this time next year. And this was when they were on the winning streak, because there are so many opportunities. And keep in mind, there are going to be some tough decisions that have to be made because the Jaguars are over the salary cap. So they have to find a way to not only get under it, but to make a little bit of room so they can try and make some other improvements. So there's some guys on the roster that maybe people look at and say, oh, they played a big role for the Jaguars. They might be back. They might not be back because there are some tough decisions that got to be made. And that's what James Gladstone and company got to figure out, is how to take a team that was successful last year and made it to the playoffs and build it with basically no wiggle room in the salary cap into a team that can win some playoff games.
I like what Liam Cohen's already saying, though. Like, this can't be, hey, we've arrived at some point. This has to be step one. Like, that's last year. Yeah. As hard as that is to fathom, Jags don't pop out 13-win seasons very often, right? You know, that has to be looked at as a building block. That doesn't mean you're going to go 14, 15, 16 the next few years. It doesn't work that way. You can be a better football team and not have the same record.
You mean don't do what Trent Baalke did a couple years back?
Generally, that's a good idea. Whatever. I don't even know what specific thing you're referring to.
Well, after they made the playoffs in, 22, they basically just ran it back with the same team. Just run it back, everything the same. It'll be fine. We'll go on a deep run. You can't do that. You have to find ways to improve and take steps and not just bank on, well, last year's rookie class is going to take a step and that's going to be the difference that we need to make the push. No. You have to hope those guys take a step. You have to hope Travis Hunter takes a step, LaQuint Allen, Basel Tootin, but you also have to bring in some of those other guys that help to fill the holes and fill the gaps to make sure that this team is prepared. You saw, look, everybody thought they were ready to make a run through the playoffs, but you get sent home by Buffalo.
And they might have been ready to make a run. You never know, right? That one game goes a different way. Maybe they're representing the AFC in the Super Bowl for all we know, but they're not.
Right. So you got to figure out what happened in that Buffalo game and fix it so that way it doesn't happen this go around again. And part of that is the defense. Some of that's the offense where there's some things that they got to tweak there, but most of those offensive players you need are depth, except for the decision with Travis Etienne. But last offseason, they really spent a lot of time and effort into kind of building that offense, put a lot of resources into it. This offseason, the defense needs to get that same attention.
All right. Jamal St here with us for the full 2 hours today. And so we're kind of turning the show over to you, our audience. If you have questions for Jamal, trust me, we've got plenty ourselves, as including, is it the right move for the Jaguars to not go to the NFL scouting combine next week? It makes it easier on us to cover it, that's for sure,
it does.
Around these parts. But if you want to get in today, a variety of ways you can do that. 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up on the socials at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at J St. Cyr TV. That's JST CYR TV for Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4, or at R has no J. That's the way you keep him in the low post, man. He's got a little baby hook. He's got a few things. He can clean the glass. But what's your range, your confident range on the jumper these days, RJ?
Confident range? I mean,
what are you knocking it down from?
I'll say 23 feet and in.
23 feet and in, so R has a J then.
It depends.
You could shoot a corner three in the NBA from that range.
Right, because it's 22 and a half. Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Talking to a guy who knows that what the dimensions are. I didn't actually know. But I figured corner three was well within 23 feet. All right. So we got Jamal in with us. Let's take advantage of it. Let's talk about all the Jaguars offseason issues, including, will these free agents be back? Should the Jags be players in the trade market, either moving some of their own guys or acquiring new talent? What can they do to bolster this roster? What should we expect from this coaching staff that could be new in year two? A whole lot of things to dig into with Jamal St. Cyr. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and RJ Saunders here with you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. This is 1010XL.
Real smooth. Real smooth. Real smooth.
10.
Real smooth.
10.
Real smooth.
XL.
Real smooth.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number one Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Jaguars Today, Thursday, is brought to you by
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Rookies, free agents, and trade talk.
The ability to see the future and react to it. Now that is what I do.
The offseason is a time to tune up the roster.
I'm all ears.
Follow the road to the regular season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink. Designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus. Straight from Dana White and AB. Celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and this month I want to talk to you about welcoming the winds of change in your life. But so often, when we see the winds of change coming our way, our immediate response is to fight it. Friends, when you see things in your life changing, when the winds of change are coming your way, don't fight it, but embrace it. Recognize that God is stirring you up so that you too can soar like an eagle.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Golf for a great cause. It's the UNF4 Scholarship Golf Classic, Friday, March 27th at Queens Harbor. Support the Swoop Impact Fund with a sponsorship or foursome. Contact jc.wegner@unf.edu.
Zero Res Month of Love Sale. Hicken here. Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $149. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the 1010 XL or Dan Hicken special. Zero Res.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Jamal, if you've got any musical requests, just let RJ know. He'll hook you up and make sure you come back and put you in the right frame of mind.
Okay, yeah, I'll put some requests in. I got some
What
ideas.
would be top of your playlist right now?
Top of my playlist.
Yeah, what
right
are you
now?
listening to right now? I have no idea.
I mean, I like the new J. Cole album. That's smooth.
Okay,
RJ knows what I'm talking about. Yeah,
clearly. Jamal didn't even look at us, Tony. He just turned his head, looking at RJ like, I'm about to say something that's going to go right over old man's head.
I mean,
right now.
I didn't take you as a big J. Cole guy.
You were right.
No,
your detective skills. Tony will infamously tell you, I claim to have not purchased any new music after Pearl Jam's second album came
Fair
out.
enough. All right.
And that's about when I stopped buying new music. And, it's like, I don't know, like I respect it. Everybody's got their own thing. I have nothing against J. Cole. I couldn't tell you a damn thing that J. Cole has put out there, but I've heard the name.
Hey, it's some good music, you know?
I don't doubt it. Look, you know, I'm not knocking your taste. I'm just don't expect me to know them.
We can get you up to speed. We can get you up to speed a little bit.
That's good. It's a taller task than you understand, buddy. All right, there's a lot of poundage. You got to pull up that hill to get me to your level. All right, so let's get into it. We got a lot of folks starting to call in this morning. Want to pick your brain on the Jaguars offseason. Let's start with the free agents because I think that's an important thing. That's coming up next month, obviously.
Yep.
We all understand the Jags cap situation. We also understand that, you know, cap space can be created depending on what your incentive level is to do that. But in your mind, have you already written off the possibility of Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne being back with this team?
I think Devin Lloyd being back's a long shot. I mean, absolute long shot. I just don't see it in the cards. I think he's played his way into a big contract. I think he's earned every dollar. Just don't think the Jaguars can afford it, and I think they understand that. Travis Etienne, little different situation, right? Like, I do think he's going to have a market, but running back's one of them positions where if you pay attention in the offseason, wonky stuff happens in free agency. Guys go in expecting big offers, and then sometimes people don't want to pay running backs or the offers don't show up for a running back. And this is actually a decent running back free agent market where there's a handful of guys.
There are.
I mean, the reigning Super Bowl MVP is a free agent. So how many
most people put Breece Hall at the top of the list too?
At the top of the list,
even though he's played for a bad team.
If the Jets don't tag him, he's going to be the top.
I mean, you got other guys. You got Rico Dowdle who had a good year. You got Javonte Williams is out there who had a good year as well.
Yep. So you got a handful of options out there. I mean, Jerome Ford's done good things in Cleveland. You know, Tyler Algier from Atlanta is a guy that I think some teams will be interested in. If Travis Etienne walks, I think the Jaguars would be interested in bringing a guy in like him. So Etienne's the interesting one for me. I think there's the most likely chance that he's back out of the two of those guys because that running back market, you just never know how it's going to go. And he might walk out there and maybe the interest isn't there, or there's interest and then the team lands a different running back, whatever it may be. I think the Jaguars are going to set their price, though, and have to just kind of sit and wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance that, you know, we've discussed several times over the course of the last several weeks that is the transition tag potentially in play for Etienne, which would be around that $11 million number? You'd still have to figure out how to get to that number.
Right.
And it would only be for the 1 year and other teams could talk to him, but I don't imagine he'll get a contract well north of that. Right, if he does hit free agency, but do you think that's an option at least on the table for the Jags with him?
I don't think they'll use the transition tag. I don't expect them to use either tag this year, whether it be franchise or transition. I just don't see it. I think they're going to let Travis and Devin test the waters. They understand that they have, you know, people in place that they hope can help to fill those spots, whether it be Bashal Tutin, whether it's Jack Kaiser, whether it's Ventrell Miller, who they really liked. So there are options on the roster, and then they'll bring in some competition for those guys to kind of open the door. But I think Travis is the most likely of the two. Devin Lloyd, honestly, I would be gun shy of giving him a big contract. 1 year of production, and we've seen it when you watch Devin Lloyd's career. I mean, think about back when he was a rookie. Started off gangbusters, was defensive rookie of the month, and then was benched a month later. He's been hot and cold over the course. 1 year of high-quality production is going to earn him a big contract somewhere. I would be a little gun-shy of it being the Jags and handing out that contract if I was the GM.
That's interesting because we really haven't explored that angle of it that much, and we can get more into that. Let's say he leaves, okay? What is the plan? Is Ventrell Miller the plan? Is go out and see what you can get in the draft, or maybe a lower-priced veteran and bring in a mishmash of players and let competition, you know, elevate somebody? What do you think would be the go-to move?
I would say that Ventrell Miller's your in-house candidate. Ventrell was a guy who was in a position battle with Devin Lloyd. It was close going into the year. I think Ventrell has a shot, but I would expect them to go into the draft and go get a guy. This is a pretty decent linebacker class. I mean, a lot of people are talking up Jacob Rodriguez, Kyle Lewis from Pitt, Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. He had a fantastic college football season, and both of those guys would definitely be instinctive and bring a lot of speed. Obviously, you're going to have some rookie lumps along the way if you bring in a rookie linebacker, but you bring in those guys, let them compete with Ventrell Miller, and whoever wins, wins. And they're going to obviously bank on Jack Kaiser and say, okay, second year in the NFL, we got a full off season with this guy, let him get healthy. Can he go out there and compete for this job to be able to give them something in there. So I would expect that if Devin leaves, it's going to be a competition, but the in-house candidate, the lead dog at the moment, is Ventrell.
Yeah, we saw these guys last year with the Jags. They were so flexible with everything they were doing, right? At this point in the offseason last year, we were talking about ETN being a trade candidate for the team because he's only got one more year. They like Tank Bigsby. We'll see what they do in the draft. Well, they wind up taking Tootin and Allen, right, in the draft. And then all the rage was talking about, are they going to trade ETN before the season? Well, it turns out ETN's the guy they keep. He keeps Tootin on the sideline all year. Tank Bigsby is gone. Like, everything we thought about the running back position changed.
Right.
You know, once you got into the season, do we feel like Tootin is ready if he was promoted to the role of running back one right now in this Jaguars offense to take on the lion's share of what they're asking the running backs to do in this offense?
It's tough to say. We haven't seen enough. You know, we haven't seen enough of Bashal Tootin to confidently say he's the guy. They're going to hand him the reins. Now, I would expect them to do similar to what I kind of just laid out for linebacker. I think they'll go and find a veteran free agent running back who's cheap, whether it be Tyler Algier, whether it's taking a flyer on a guy like Isaiah Pacheco to say, okay, we got that, and then go into the draft and look for another back to add to that room, whether it's a guy like a Jonah Coleman from Washington, something like that, and then let them fight it out. Cream rises to the top. My biggest concern with Bashal Tootin is you saw some flashes from him last year, but if you up the volume for him, do the fumbles come back? And you honestly, nobody knows the answer to that.
You can't.
You can't.
They can't know the answer to that.
You can hope.
Right.
You can say, oh, well, it wasn't really a problem last season, but he did put the ball on the ground. And he put the ball on the ground in college and during the offseason, but he did a decent job of protecting it, but he wasn't a high-volume guy. So that would be my biggest question mark with him is how confident can you say, all right, well, we're going to roll with this guy, but you really don't know if the ball security is completely behind him or if that's something that's going to pop back up.
I would say, and I know you're just putting names out there to give examples, right? But I think, let's say ETN's gone and they do go the veteran route and they bring in an Algier, they bring in a Pacheco, a guy who's played a significant amount of football.
Yep.
They have to feel good about Tootin to do that and to have drafted him and put him in that position. And with that, like, I know you just threw a name out there, but Jonah Coleman is probably a guy that most people say is like a top 6-ish back in this draft.
Sure.
I don't think if they go that route that they're going to spend that kind of draft capital that it would take to get that type of back. I could see more of like a 5th or 6th round guy, and plenty of those guys hit and become rotation backs in the National Football League. But it's just one of the many puzzle pieces the Jags need to put together this offseason. We've got Jamal St. here to weigh in on all of them today from Channel 4. So take advantage at 641-1010 as we go to the phones for the first time this morning. John on the west side going to get in first today. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Jamal, you've answered the first part of my question. The second part of the question would be, since Tennessee has so much capital draft as far as cash under the salary cap and everything, what are the chances that, you know, taking Lloyd, weakening your opponent and strengthening yourself, what are the chances that we're looking across the field twice a year at Lloyd? I'll take it off the air. Thank
All
you.
right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's not a bad option. I mean, the Titans do have a ton of money to throw around. I expect they're going to put a bunch of that toward that offense because if you look at what Cam Ward was doing last year with a no-name group at wide receiver, no-name tight end, the offensive line was terrible. They've got to give that guy a chance. Like, they have no idea if they have a quarterback of the future because he was playing with undrafted free agents catching passes. That's not fair from an evaluation standpoint. So I think a bulk of that cap space is going to go toward remodeling that offense. Now, obviously, you do have a defensive-minded head coach who's going to want some new shiny toys on his defense. Could Devin Lloyd be one of them, to your point of weaken the Jaguars while trying to strengthen your defense a little bit? Absolutely. Absolutely, it would make sense for them to go out and do that because that team needs to upgrade at every position.
If you are a team
Their top
looking
two
at
needs listed are always wide receiver, edge. It's like, oh,
well,
y'all are
and that's what I was going to ask. They're running right now. They've been running a 3-4 defense primarily. Okay. If you're a team looking at Devin Lloyd, do you sign him based on his body of work and say he's a 3-4 outside linebacker?
No.
He's got to play on the inside. See, like looking at Tennessee, like Cody Barton and Cedric Gray, not the greatest duo, but they're a solid enough duo on the inside. I wonder if, and they do have a lot of cap space, but I mean, that's always a danger, though. You lose a guy in free agency, and the guy's going to be lining up opposite you.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
Nothing you can do about it.
There's absolutely nothing. Arden Key. I mean,
absolutely.
A perfect example.
Well, he'd be a guy that they might look at Devin Lloyd to replace.
Maybe.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were to be Tennessee
They thought they were pulling off that kind of thing with Calvin Ridley.
They thought
it just hasn't worked out that way.
Right.
You know, he hadn't been healthy enough.
He hasn't been healthy enough, and they thought that it was that exact situation. If Devin Lloyd ends up in Tennessee, good luck to him.
Right.
I don't know, like we talked about earlier, I don't know that the situation ends up all that differently from the Calvin Ridley situation. Calvin's been fine for him. He just hasn't been the superstar they thought they were stealing.
And he hasn't been healthy. Like, that's the one thing. I think, too, if you're Anthony Campanelli, you knew how to best utilize Devin Lloyd and maybe kind of hide some of his weaknesses a little bit. And you would also suspect, if you've worked with him for at least a year, you'd have a pretty good idea of how to attack him as well. So I'm not going to – you can't worry – you can't say, hey, we got to sign Devin Lloyd because somebody in our division might sign him otherwise.
Right. And you know what? To that point, a guy that's a free agent that had his best season with Coach Camp, Quay Walker from up in Green Bay.
He did.
Who should be a cheaper alternative if the Jaguars wanted to go to the free agent market to try and replace Devin.
It's funny you say that. I think if you looked at 10 free agent lists out there, half of them have Quay Walker ahead of Devin Lloyd. The other half have Devin Lloyd ahead of Quay Walker.
All over the place.
They really are, right? So I hear what you're saying. And if Quay Walker's a nice player, I think he's more, to me, a little bit more of a Foye Oluwakin type. I think Devin's more of a splash play maker, as he showed us last year. But Quay Walker would be a really nice consolation prize. But I have no idea what his market's going to be,
Look, this is an interesting time around the NFL, and there are a lot of teams that have a lot of money to throw around. And they're going to do it on free agency. That's what they do every year. And you know what? It worked last year for the Patriots. They threw
and the Seahawks, right?
And the Seahawks.
Yes.
They threw all that money around, and they landed in the Super Bowl. So teams with money are going to absolutely spend it all.
Bro, it's you can't spend your way to a Super Bowl. Well,
they just
you can try.
Yeah.
Both teams did that. They're both top 4 in free agent spending.
I know we've talked plenty of times about the market value stuff that Spot Track does.
Yes.
Right. And looking at the two players, they have the market value for Devin Lloyd at 20.1. Quay Walker, they have it at 8.3.
I mean,
right? Like, I don't think either of those numbers are completely accurate to how I feel about where the numbers should land. Like, we've talked about it. With Devin Lloyd, 16, 17 is what I'd be willing to spend. Right.
Sure.
And I wouldn't be surprised that the market pushes it closer to 20. But I don't think the separation between Devin Lloyd and Quay Walker is $12 million.
No, absolutely not.
Right? Like, I just don't think that's where it's going to. I think Quay's number right there is way lower than I think he will get on the market. He'll be more in that 14, 15 range is my guess.
If that number's close to accurate, James Gladstone's going to be a player.
You better be in.
Think about the deals he was out there hunting last year where he goes and gets Eric Murray, an under-the-radar kind of guy who slides in and solidifies safety. And everybody's like, okay, this works. Jordan Lewis, where he goes and gets a guy, and literally Jerry Jones in his end-of-season press conference goes, yeah, I think we undervalued that nickel corner we lost last year. And at the time, everybody's like, wow, they just paid Jordan Lewis a big contract. He played dividends, not just on the field, but as a leader. Those are the kinds of guys that Gladstone's going to go out and try and get. He's not going to be the big spender ever, especially not with this cap situation. But he's going to go and try and find good football players on a bargain that, for one reason or another, are being undervalued around the league.
All right, we got Jamal St. here. He is a bargain for us today because we got him for the whole 2 hours. So take advantage of his presence here at 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines primarily. We'll hit the text line as well. Take a quick break here. Get back to your calls on the other side. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service.
Instant Keys comes to you.
You're locked into Jaguars Today Thursday with Cannons of Jacksonville. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors, your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Discover downtown Jacksonville's newest go-to spot. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville brings you 2 floors of over 80 self-pour craft beers, wines and cocktails, plus live sports, live music, and private event space. And right next door, Pizza Dynamo fires up made-to-order pizzas, slices and calzones, packed with bold flavor. Pair a pint with a fresh pie at Pizza Dynamo and Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth.
Here's a little secret to why I've been married for over 25 years. Kuhn Flowers. Hot Flying Jacko here. Yeah, that's correct. When I need to send some love to my bride, I don't wait for an anniversary or her birthday. I just simply go to kuhnflowers.com.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tofoy Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with i9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous, gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
I'm with Craig from Cycles in Jacksonville, and Triumph is a known name when it comes to beautiful rides on the road. What is the latest from Triumph?
Well, if you didn't come, we had an unleashing at the dealership last week. We saw 6 new models from Triumph, anything from 400 cc's to 1200 cc's. If you're looking at a bike, you got to look at the new Triumph.
Experienced riders will love it.
And the inexperienced will love it. We've got something for everybody in the Triumph lineup. Great motorcycles.
Showroom waiting for you. Triumph. Find them at Cycles in Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The best was Jamal just looked at me like expectantly, like, is Mike going to figure out the connection? Is he going to understand who's playing right now?
You're nodding your head a little bit. I saw it.
I have trust in RJ. That's why. Oh, absolutely. I'm sure J. Cole has good music. I'm just like, I missed my window, man. That's all.
Nah, it's never too late.
All right.
Never too late.
I'm glad you think so. Tony would beg to differ. I got this one for you. Our good friend Duval Doom. You know Doom, I take it, right? He wanted to know, very important question, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the teal hamburgers that you sometimes can get at the stadium, 10 being the greatest food you've ever had. Rate the quality of food that J. Paul would deliver to you on game day from the Two Dads tailgate.
Oh, man. That was no-brainer 10.
They crush it.
They absolutely crushed it. The best decision we made, we started doing like our pregame Jaguars show from over there at the Slab this year, and it was absolutely great. got us over there in the slab to have some
Why
fun.
did it take so long to get over there, man? I mean, it seems like the place to be, right?
It is the place to be.
Yes.
Oh, man, it was an absolute blast. They took care of us every week. Food was absolutely fantastic. If there was video of me during the commercial breaks trying to scarf down the plate, I'm telling you, it would go viral because I'm like trying to finish up.
Did you have your daily Jell-O for dessert? Because I know what Ms. Nika puts in that Jell-O, buddy.
Hey, there might be a little teal juice here or there with some edible glitter in it,
Edible glitter. You got to have it, man. We know how. Look, we may not consistently have a winning team in Jacksonville. We consistently crush tailgates.
Know how to have a good time.
Yeah.
Come on now.
No doubt about it. All right, so there you go, Doom. You got your answer, 10. It is right up there with the greatest food of all time, at least certainly for tailgating food. No doubt about it. All right.
Absolutely.
Out to the lines we go. Cody, all the way from Missouri, checking in this morning. Good morning, Cody.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing well. What's up, man?
Man, Jamal, you can't go wrong with J. Cole, man.
Come on now. See? We got another one.
Talk amongst yourselves.
But I just got a question for you, Jamal. Excluding two players that were on the team from last year, what two players in free agency and what two players in the draft should we be highly invested in?
Excluding guys that were on the team last year?
Other than their own free agents that they might possibly bring back. Do you have any guys?
I like Tyler Algier as an option if Travis Etienne walks.
Okay.
I like him as a guy who would give you that power running and able to kind of offset what you get from Tootin if you need to go that route.
Pretty good receiver as well.
He's done some good things. Never been the feature guy in Atlanta, but when his number's called, he's done really good.
He's been able to handle a good workload, though, in Atlanta. There have been
way
games
more than we wanted him to handle.
Right, but it's funny you say that, Tony, because people are like, hey, man, for Bijan Robinson, like, oh, he's going to get rid of Algier. I'll take the devil I know over the devil I don't. I don't need somebody coming in there that maybe rips off a few breakaway touchdowns and steals some possessions from Bijan Robinson. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So Tyler Algier, who else?
On the other side of it, I think you got to add to that tight end room behind Brenton Strange. I think there's going to be changes there. They brought in Hunter Long and Johnny Munt last year. Both of them were usurped by Quentin Morris, who's a free agent. So if you look at that tight end market, a guy like Tyler Higbee, who has some familiarity from the Sean McVay system with Liam Cohen, would make sense as a veteran kind of stopgap as they try and maybe influx through the draft to kind of lift the floor there to where you have a guy if Brenton Strange gets backed up, or if you want to do those two tight end sets. There's a couple other options on the free agent market that could make sense, but Higbee would make a ton of sense just from the familiarity with that McVay system and Liam Cohen as a guy who would be kind of under the radar name that you could slide in that would make a ton of sense in that room. And the Jaguars have to figure out a way to improve that room.
Before we get to some guys in the draft that you might have your eye on.
Yep.
What do you think they need at the tight end position? Obviously they went with Strange, and then everybody else that they brought in, they might have had a little, we'll throw you a red zone target once a game, something like that. But they're primarily brought in to be physical, inline blocking options for this team. So do they need to have that other pass catching option when you've got Jacoby Myers and Parker and BTJ and Travis Hunter and Brenton Strange all in the mix?
Well, Hunter Long, he ended up inactive for games.
He did.
He got usurped by Quentin Morris, who started the year on the practice squad. Not exactly a good sign. Johnny Munt, there were some drops in there that were painful. I mean, I absolutely painful. Like, I was making jokes during the game watching him try and catch some passes sometimes. Like, is he going to catch this one? So you have to at least have a guy who can be reliable on the outlet. And Johnny, you can't trust in that form. And then Hunter Long, they saw enough where eventually he was just inactive.
Right.
That's not a great sign. So, yeah, I think you need a guy who can at least be a reliable receiver in the short to intermediate. That's what I think Tyler Higbee would give you. A little run blocking, a little bit of receiving. He's not exactly the Darren Waller downfield.
Right. Like, you're not thinking Isaiah Likely or somebody like that who is that's a guy you would sign to try to feature in your passing game.
Liam wants inline tight ends.
Okay.
Liam wants inline tight ends. That was the same discussion we had about Evan Ingram last year, where he didn't fit what Liam wanted. He wants the Brenton Strange mold. But the vogue thing in the NFL, if you watch the Jaguars-Rams game last year, where the Rams rolled out there in heavy personnel.
3 tight end package.
2 to 3 tight ends at a time. And they're forcing defenses to adjust to you. And then you want to have athletic enough tight ends that you can throw out of that. So you need to have these guys that are similar to Brenton Strange who can do a little bit of everything. So the Jaguars do have to add to that room if they want to try and be on that Vogue side and do that a little bit more. Last year, they honestly just didn't have the personnel to do it, even if they wanted to.
You know, you make a good point, though. It's not just the guys that you acquire, Tone. It's like Evan Ingram at the time. We're like, this has been a pretty good safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. Evan Ingram fell off the map last year. And there was no reason for him to do that either. You know, in terms of age and all this, it wasn't like they had Cortland Sutton, but it's not like they had Jackson Smith and Jigba on that Denver team. And so it's, I guess the theory is better to get out a year early than a year late on a lot of these guys.
Oh, absolutely. That's an old Parcellism.
Yeah.
Cut the cord a year early rather than a year late. It's better to see him go somewhere else and have one big year than you be saddled with a contract and now you're stuck with a guy. So was that an uncomfortable conversation with him and Christian Kirk last year? Absolutely, because people had gotten used to seeing them, but it was one that they just didn't really fit. And now you look up and you say you're a year later and you got Brenton Strange and everybody really feels good about that. Everybody feels pretty good about this wide receiver room at this point to where it's at compared to where it was when they moved on from Christian Kirk. And they don't have as much flexibility and probably don't trade for a guy like Jacoby Myers if Kirk's still in the building.
Right. And Kirk, by the way, had a really injury-plagued year, a down year. And then he hits the playoffs, and all of a sudden it was like,
caught fire.
Oh, that's the guy we remember
there
here. But, if you had Christian Kirk, does Parker Washington emerge? I think they're extremely similar in terms of receiving ability. Right. All right, more on the wide receiver room. That's an interesting avenue to explore here with Jamal St. here. But we're going to finish up the other side of Cody's question when we return in the moment. Give us a couple of guys. And we get it. It's impossible to know exactly who's going to be available. But guys you think might be there at least by pick 56, if not even later, that you've got your eye on. Take advantage of Jamal St. Cyr in studio here with us today at 641-1010. This is Jaguars Today, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Your radio highlight reel.
Caught for the touchdown!
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
Jaguars Today Thursday is hitched to Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Free oil change alert. Mike Dempsey here for Duval Ford Mobile Service. They're treating 8 listeners February 25th at the 1010 Studios during Jaguars Today. For your chance to win a free oil change, text OIL to 641-1010.
The Purple Heart isn't just a name. It represents service, discipline, and earning trust. At Purple Heart Pools, that standard shows up most in pool renovations. If your pool is outdated or worn down, now's the time to upgrade. So when summer arrives, your pool is ready. From new finishes and tile to decking, lighting, and full transformations, every upgrade is handled with precision and attention to detail. Purple Heart Pools. Pool renovations done right.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your National Builder of the Year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Here's hoping for a raise the roof football season. And here's knowing
Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
This is Frank Frangie for the farm in Okefenokee. Can you imagine owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Imagine enjoying fresh produce from the garden, fruit from the orchard, meats from the smokehouse. Every meal is a true farm-to-table experience all year long. Belong to a place where your family can choose nature over screens, spending their days feeding animals, picking berries, and fishing in the farm's pond. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
All right, Jaguars Today, moving along here, wrapping up hour number 1 with Jamal St. from Channel 4 in studio with us talking what else but Jaguar football in the offseason. Jamal, Cody called up, asked, guys you have your eye on in the draft, and I'm learning more about Jamal, just in our time we're spending this morning. You consider yourself a bit of a draft Nick.
Oh, I'm a draft nerd.
Love it.
To the T. I've loved it, always have loved it. So, yeah, I try and dive in a little bit here on the draft. So, yeah, I can give you a couple guys. One of the guys that I have on my list for 56 would be Dominic Orange from Iowa State.
Okay.
Big defensive tackle. He's got a little bit of juice there. He's definitely going to be a big run stuffer, pocket pusher for you. And defensive tackle's a space where you got to get better. And there's a chance that maybe to free up some cap space, maybe Eric Armstead's not around because if you got to post June 1 him to open up cap space.
If you do that, though, man, you're talking about that's a second leading sacker on your team.
Yep.
Right? He got to get some of the credit for helping the number 1 run defense in the National Football League. He's playing a lot of snaps in the interior there. And yet you brought Matt Dickerson back for a little bit of depth, and he was a nice pickup for them last year. What is Mason Smith?
What nobody knows at this point.
A total enigma.
It looks like it was a miss.
I think they were excited about him last offseason. Mm-hmm. That's before he got hurt. They were really enthusiastic about where he was.
Something swung and it didn't work out. So look, there's some stuff that you got to figure out, right? And one of those is how you open up that cap space. We were talking about it during the break. There's not a whole lot of easy spots to go. Could that be one of them at defensive tackle? I think Dominic Orange would be solid. If you want to go deeper cuts, Mike Washington, a running back from Arkansas, would be an option in the range where you're talking, where you're saying, hey, maybe they go 4th, 5th round, day 3 kind of guy. Mike Washington's big. He's a solid pass catcher. He's done some good things there in Arkansas. He'd be a guy who's got a little bit of juice that I think they'll be interested in. And then one of my favorite defensive guys in the class is Kyle Lewis from Pitt. You probably got to go a little higher on him, maybe 3rd round. You might be able to swing him because he's an undersized linebacker a little bit, but honestly, he's about the size of where Foyer's listed at. So it's not that undersized, but he's got, you want a juice guy? He's got a juice guy at linebacker. The Senior Bowl, this man had multiple interceptions during one-on-ones, and every defensive guy knows the offense is supposed to have the leverage in one-on-ones. Linebackers are supposed to get cooked by these running backs. And this guy's pulling off interceptions left and right. I think he had 2 or 3 during Senior Bowl practice. Kyle Lewis has got it. And I would trust that Coach Camp can figure out with a chess piece like Kyle Lewis how to use him.
We got to bring you back for a mock draft Monday, Tony. It sounds like Jamal's ready to go. He might pull one off of top of his head right now for the Jags selections. Clearing cap space, kind of tying it into what we're just talking about there. Walker Little is an option. You can clear about, I think it's like $7.5 million if you trade him.
Yes.
I think he could be an asset that another team would look at and go, we could play him inside. He could be a starting. He's shown he could play tackle. He's not the best tackle we've got, but I think that's a realistic guy that you could move off of this year.
Absolutely. Offensive linemen are valuable around the league, and Walker, while he's not a starter for the Jaguars, is a solid offensive lineman who has versatility to play left tackle, right tackle, and we've seen him play left guard and right guard. So why wouldn't a team say, you know what, give me that Swiss Army knife? Now, he does have a little bit of a hefty contract, so it's got to be a team with some salary cap space that has a need. Maybe a team like the Cleveland Browns, their entire offensive line is a free agent. So they basically have an opening at every position.
Right. Oh, and he could play one of them.
He could play one of them for you.
Bring him in and see what other pieces you can acquire and then figure out the mix. And the proposed trade ESPN did a couple of days ago on that. They did that story with 11 different trade proposals, right? One of them was Walker Little to Cleveland. And it was basically for a late round pick swap, which would be a salary dump in the Jag. The value of that deal is getting a little bit of cap relief. You lose a little bit of depth on the offensive line. So right now, how well suited are they to go into battle with this offensive line group? Like, you could make the case that they've got their starters locked in. They've got a couple of emerging pieces that can challenge for jobs. Are they okay there, or is this a group that you need to constantly reinforce?
I think you always have to reinforce. I fully believe you always have to find ways to add pieces to that room. I don't know that some of maybe the veteran guys, maybe Chuma Edoga might not be back because he's one of the guys that you can clear a little cap space for. He kind of fell down the depth chart a little bit over the course of the season.
He looked like he would be the swing tackle at one point. Like he was like the next man up at a couple of spots, it felt like.
Right.
And then just kind of slowly got, pushed to the side.
He was the pleasant surprise at camp.
He was.
For a little bit.
No, absolutely.
Then it wasn't so pleasant a little bit later on. But look, and they believe in Wyatt Milam. And he's a guy who's going to step up to where maybe he is your backup guard or even pushing Makari for that guard spot. There are some tough decisions that have to be made, and one of them where you could clear a little space is if you figured out a way to move Makari. So Wyatt Milam's I think the offensive line's okay. I don't feel bad if you lose Walker Little where it's like, catastrophic, the sky's falling. But they would have to go and find maybe that swing tackle, right? Because now you don't have that guy anymore who's your backup swing tackle, but that's something you can get in the draft or from free agency. You can find a swing tackle. I mean, think about Cole Van Lanen's now your presumed starter at left tackle, and they traded for him years back for what, like a 5th or 6th round pick? So you can go get those guys.
And I feel like we'd all agree this coaching staff overall has done a much better job for most of the roster. Most guys didn't go backwards last year, right? They had a lot of guys had career years or took a big step in the right direction. BTJ, maybe an exception to that rule, but we'll talk about him coming up as well. So it isn't Ezra Cleveland, last thought on the offensive line here. In the last year of his contract, he's still a pretty young guy. You could save a little bit of cap space by moving on from him, but I think he played well last year. I don't think they should be in the business of taking like a 28-year-old offensive line starter and looking to move on from that guy yet.
No, I don't think you're going to move on from Ezra. Ezra had a really good season last year, was healthy for most of it, and played good ball. And honestly, right now, you don't have a built-in replacement for him. So maybe you draft that guy this year that you hope develops into Ezra's eventual replacement. But right now, you should feel pretty good about where you're at with Ezra, with Robert Hainsey in there. You got Jonah Monheim, who played some good ball for you last year, backing up Hainsey and can give you some guard snaps in a pinch. But overall, you should feel decent about where you're at on the offensive line. But I think Ezra's here for at least this season.
How old is Hainsey?
How old is Hainsey?
Yeah, I asked Tony that. Tony got it. I was surprised. This kind of surprised me a little bit.
I don't know. He's got to be knocking on the door 30, right?
He's 28.
Is he 28?
I feel like he's old, right? It feels like he's older to me because he lost his job in Tampa for that year. You feel like, is he a vet kind of only brought in here as the coach on the field aspect to get guys up to speed on what Liam Cohen wants to do? Then you look and you're like, played pretty well. He is only 28 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I feel like for this year, if Hainsey's the answer, I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with that.
Absolutely. Honestly, look, I'm not a huge watch the offensive line like to the T guy, but I love watching Robert Hainsey on those rundowns. That man goes and looks for work. Like, one of the biggest problems for, like, Luke Fortner wasn't looking for a job. Robert Hainsey's out there like, I got bills to pay. And he goes and finds somebody and will lay them out and then celebrate on the ground as the running back
Pancake
runs
bonus.
by.
Yeah.
Absolutely love watching Robert Hainsey out there. I am a fan.
Jamal is fired up right now. We got Jamal St here for another hour to go here on Jaguars Today. Let's get into Brian Thomas and where he fits in with the short and long-term plans for these Jacksonville Jaguars with Jamal. 641-1010 gets you on the Key Buick GMC phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Now, Studio Talk with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
Mornings on 1010XL
And totally redeem yourself.
92.5 FM.
Could you imagine? There was a time you could just tell your kids to shut up, right to their face. No explanations, just shut up. How much easier would that have been? Why is the sun hot? I don't know. Why don't you shut up? Well, that was uncalled for.
Tom Papa Live in the Grateful Bread Tour. Saturday, February 21st, on stage at Florida Theater. Tickets are on sale now at floridatheater.com.
This is Frank Frangie. Over the past 11 years, the weight loss industry has seen it all. New medications, fad diets, sculpting. Yet Awaken 180 still stands alone as the proven solution for lasting weight loss. Results at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Fall in love with a new Chevy at Nimnick Chevrolet. Frank Frangie here. Right now, save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 1.9%. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck or SUV at Nimnick. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership at the corner of Park and Cassett. So who's got more new vehicles at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Patrick Young here, a.k.a. the Big PY, and you know I love my Florida Gators. Now you can hear my Gator basketball instant reaction following each Gator Hoops game. Look for my takes on the social channels of 1010XL, brought to you by VanguardSportsLeagues.com.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Now's the perfect time to order logo coffee mugs or maybe a logoed stick brand tumbler. They're seriously ice cold and look great with your company logo. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, let's talk about diamond cutting. How is a diamond price affected by the way it is cut?
Frank, that's probably the most important question asked about diamonds because the trade-off between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one that's not is the diamond's carat weight. You see, diamond cutters buy rough diamonds based on quality and weight. So as they cut the rough diamond, everything cut away affects profits. However, there's specific known cutting parameters, and each deviation from these means they have a heavier, less beautiful diamond. Unfortunately, a customer can't detect all those cutting imperfections. They need expert help about a diamond's cut grade. You see, for any round diamond of a particular color, clarity, and carat weight, there are as many as 10 different prices that can vary by as much as 50%. At Underwoods, we look specifically at how a diamond's cut before we look at anything else, because it's the most important factor when it comes to a diamond's beauty, and to us, whether it should carry the Underwood name or not.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
At the First Coast YMCA, there's no place like this place, with programs and experiences that will bring your whole family together. Summer will be here before we know it, and Y Summer Day Camp registration is now open. Visit your local Y to secure your child's spot early for a season full of memories and adventure. Don't delay. Day camps will fill up. There's no place like this place, so visit your local Y to sign up or online at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. Sportsbooks around the country are releasing their over-under win totals for each NFL team for the 2026 season. According to one, they have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 9.5 wins going into the 2025-26 season. The Jags went from 4 wins in 2024 to 13 wins in 2025 and winning the AFC South crown. 76 degrees at 11:04. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I see RJ is now, he's playing to the old man crowd a little bit right here. 1987 release on U2 on this particular song. So there you go. I remember
balance.
Yeah, a little bit of balance right there. We did have a request. I couldn't tell you anything, RJ, that you've played, but For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole has been requested by Bush Drive Rich.
Hey,
so,
Bush Drive Rich.
Bush Drive, you know Bush Drive Rich.
Bush Drive Rich. Come on now.
Isn't it true? What markets have you worked in?
I've worked in I worked in Bryan College Station down in Texas, where Texas A&M's at. Worked in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay.
And then now I've worked here.
Now in Jacksonville.
Yep.
I do feel like Jacksonville's got the small town feel to it, right? But we do have this little cliquish community of you feel like there are certain people that you may never have even met once in your life that you're like, oh yeah, it's like a family of these people that have been connected through social media and through the Bold City Brigade and the Teal Street Hooligans and all this stuff and all the trips they've organized and stuff. I just think it's a pretty cool dynamic. I don't think you'd get that in a lot of NFL markets.
Yeah, absolutely. For as spread out as Jacksonville is,
right,
everybody is very connected, and there's definitely a very close-knit family bunch where it's like, oh, I might not know you, but I know you.
Yeah, oh, that guy. Yeah. Yes. We all know that. We all love Bush Drive Rich.
It's a unique city, man.
It is.
Like, there's a million people here, but it feels like 6 little towns.
Yes.
It's what Jacksonville feels like. It's remarkable.
All
right.
Connected.
Here's the question for you. Jamal St. here,
Okay,
Channel 4, Jaguar Observer extraordinaire. Who is the number one wide receiver right now on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
That one's tough, but if you watch the way the offense changed when Jacoby Myers got here, give me Jacoby Myers. The numbers may never speak to that, but the difference that he made, I'll say Jacoby. Obviously, the answer that Liam and James Gladstone will give, there's no wide receiver, it just takes advantage of matchup.
That's true to some degree, right? But
it's coach speak.
We all look for that guy. I would probably say Parker Washington right now.
Sure.
The way the last, 6 or 7 games of the season went for him. But
he was fantastic.
This was a fluid situation. I mean, when Liam Cohen got hired, we're going to run the offense for Brian Thomas Jr.
Right.
And they start out, he's your number one guy. Parker had a great camp. We're going to have De'Ami Brown and Travis Hunter as 2 of our top 3 options. Mm-hmm. And then, Travis was going to get to that point, maybe become the number one option. He gets hurt. In comes Jacoby another week or 2 later, and he's the number one guy immediately. Then Parker. So I do feel like there's a lot of fluidity to this group.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it could go either way. When you say, and this is a good problem to have, big third down, got to have it. Who are you throwing it to?
Jacoby, probably.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm picking one guy, but there are other guys that you would consider.
Well, and I think from a defensive standpoint, who are they throwing it to?
Right.
Right? Like, that's where the Jaguars have the opponent in a bit of a bind. It's like we don't know who the go-to guy necessarily is in this moment. We have an idea in our minds of this is likely where the ball is going to go, but no one can know because they have 4 options that they can go to, and they're all effective, at least as an option.
It's a great problem to have. Like, if you, I completely see the Parker Washington side of it, because if you say, "Oh, big third down, we're going to go to Parker," we saw him do that. But big third down, you got to have it. It's tight coverage. You go to Jacoby because that his superpower.
Or it could be Brenton
is
Strange.
Or it could be Brenton Strange because Brenton Strange was Mr. Reliable. That was Trevor's safety blanket from week 1. So, look, I think the Jaguars offense, for the first time, and I think we felt pretty good last offseason saying, "Oh, Brian's going to be really good," and then they drafted Travis Hunter. You should feel a little different. Now, obviously, Parker's got to try and replicate what he did last year because we saw him do it for part of a season. Now, can you do it with a whole season with defenses knowing you're coming their way? How are you going to adjust?
Well, how important was Brian Thomas in that mix? Because, like, you remember the Denver game, Pat Surtain was covering him, right? And still teams looked and said, if we're going to get beat quick, he's probably the guy, right? He's still the guy who's going to beat us quick. There's been all kinds of speculation about Brian Thomas's future with this team, right? Is he truly a number one? He shows who he really is. Is he ever going to get back to being that 1,200-yard guy? What can we get for him in a trade? Do we need him now that we have all these other pieces in the wide receiver core? So there's a lot of different stuff swirling around the same question. What is the future of Brian Thomas Jr. in Jacksonville?
That's so tough. Guys like BT don't grow on trees. He's big, he's fast, and that's why defenses have to respect him, because at any given moment, that guy can make your one-on-one corner look crazy and leave him in the dust. Like, I don't even remember the no-name Colts guy that got cut a couple of weeks later that, remember for the rookie year, he's diving. BT can do that because he is an athletic freak. Absolutely. But he didn't play exactly well last year. And by the time you got to the playoffs in the Bills game, he played a little more than 50% of the snaps.
Caught 2 passes. One was the touchdown, but still.
But 50% of the snaps.
Not much volume, right?
In a game where you got to have it. That doesn't signal to me that the coaching staff believes in a got-to-have-it game that they can trust that guy.
Okay, so it's a wide receiver-rich draft.
It is.
Maybe the best position if you listen to the draft pundits out there, right, in terms of depth and how deep you can go and still get maybe even quality starters into the 4th round is what they're saying. What would it take for a team to come to you and make an offer for Brian Thomas that would make you at least sit up and listen if you're James Gladstone?
I got to get a first-round pick. I got to get at least a first-round pick to sit up and listen. If you're not talking,
is that enough? Like, if Buffalo says our late first-rounder for Brian Thomas, straight up.
What the trade that ESPN proposed was what Buffalo's first-round pick, Keon Coleman for BT,
and like a 5th or 6th,
and
something
a day
like that.
3. That at least made me ponder, right? That put me in the tough spot because if I'm Keon Coleman, Cam Newton has bullied me into being a competent NFL player.
Right, and now I'm going to try.
He should have no choice but like pride's on the line now, buddy, because that man put you on a poster and then the GM basically said, "I didn't want this dude." Like, they have bullied you into figuring out how to at least be serviceable. And like, that trade makes me think, because I'm like, okay, well, if Keon Coleman can at least be Tim Patrick, okay, now I'm thinking, okay, now I get a first-round pick out of this. I don't have to. But at the end of the day, BT is still your juice guy. Jacoby's great, but Jacoby can't do what Brian Thomas can do.
But can you find a field stretcher?
That's the
with the
question.
56th pick? Because, like, to me, if I'm just flipping Brian Thomas for another wide receiver that I'm going to take a chance on with pick 26 or whatever it would be, I don't know if that's as appealing to me, because at least I've seen him do it against NFL caliber competition. But if I think I could get a starter, maybe a defensive tackle, right, with that first-round pick, and I could pivot to bolstering my wide receiver core, which is a deeper position with one of those other picks, I think you got to think about it at least.
The way I thought about it was I absolutely wouldn't make this until draft day. If I was going to consider that trade from Buffalo, it'd be a draft day trade, and if Buffalo's sitting there on the clock and Caleb Banks from Florida's there, big defensive tackle who can get after the quarterback, give you some juice there and improve a position, and Bills called up and said, "Hey, then I'm like, oh, now I'm on the clock and I can get my guy.
It might have to be an on-the-clock type
It would need to. I need to see that I have a guy that I really want there.
Do the Jags miss out? And we talked about this before we came on today. By not going to the combine, that's the one area I wonder if they miss out on, that kind of marketplace of guys just kind of rub elbows and bump into each other. And maybe you're not even thinking like, I'm going to go after this player. And then you find out, oh, he might be available for the right offer. And deals can kind of come out of that atmosphere. Do the Jags miss out on that, in your opinion, by not going to the combine?
You know what? That's a good point. And honestly, I don't know. The Rams have made it work, and they've been pretty active in the trade market in the past and made it work. And that's where James Gladstone is essentially getting this from of, yeah, we don't need to go to the combine and talk to these guys. We're not that worried about it. So I don't know. And I know James Gladstone's talked openly in the past about, calling around and doing check-ins with other GMs. So how frequently does he do these touch bases with these guys of just pick up the phone and say, hey, buddy in Atlanta, how you feeling? You got anything? This is how I'm feeling going into free agency. Be interested in moving maybe Walker Little if you were interested, but just want to,
touch base.
I don't know how frequently he does that. Does he do that, this time of year and then maybe again right before the draft? Or so if he's doing that, then I think you can make it work.
Right.
But obviously now there's another layer of work that he's got to do to make sure that he does get those open conversations.
And Tony, I've talked about it, man. You go from 4 to 13 wins, you get the benefit of the doubt on whatever you're doing this offseason. We're going to go, okay, you know what? You did add 9 wins to the total, so we'll back off. We won't question you too hard. But in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, that petri dish of all the NFL decision makers all being together, just I feel like stuff comes out of that sometimes, and maybe they're going to miss out a little bit on that. Oh, by the way, Damon says hi. He said, tell Jamal Damon says hi. I don't know.
What's up, Damon?
There you go, on the text line. Hey. So, took care of it for you, Damon. There you go. Passed it along. Also, somebody compared Jacksonville, I think that's what they're comparing him to, like a large dog park. Like you don't know anybody when you go there, but everybody has this thing in common, and everybody kind of gets along.
Okay,
so
when you put it that way, I kind of see it. All
Jacksonville,
right,
America's dog park. Take it for I take it in a positive way. Put it on a poster, right? Put it on a button. Jamal St. Cyr here with us from Channel 4. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Start your engine.
When it's time for the ride home, Frank Franchi and Hayes Carline will keep your engine purring.
Your new BMW 750.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
Jaguars Today, Thursday.
Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
It's time to upgrade your ride and trade in your Tesla for luxury with a brand new Cadillac EV.
At Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, we have over 30 Cadillac EVs to choose from.
Feel the power of instant torque and enjoy the range that takes you farther.
You love your Tesla, but it's time to elevate your ride.
Trade in your Tesla today at Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.com.
You pick the color and drive away today.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent you.
To catch more fish, you've got to think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services, and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Let's talk about the sound no homeowner wants to hear. Drip, drip, drip. Still dripping. That's exactly why Duck Duck Rooter created the Love Your Pipes promotion. Plumbing problems don't scare us. Not with years of experience and honest upfront pricing on our side. Right now, you can get free plumbing assessment on all fixtures with any paid plumbing service. It's the smart move to fix the issue now before it becomes bigger. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, duckduckrooter.com.
The road to March runs through Jacksonville. The 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament is coming to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Catch all 24 Division I basketball programs in action March 3rd through 9th. Reserve your seat today at asunsports.org/tickets. Jacksonville is the destination for ASUN basketball. Get your tickets to the 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament today. asunsports.org/tickets.
Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King, is turning up the flavor with new char wings. These wings are charbroiled, never fried, grilled to perfection for a big taste without the grease. Grab them as a 3-piece or 10-piece side, or make it a meal with a 6 or 8-piece combo, served with rice and a drink. Order pickup or delivery today from any of Flame Broiler's 5 Jacksonville locations, or call 904-619-2786. Flame Broiler, bold flavor done right.
Do you love cold weather? Tobacco Cove doesn't either, and we are heating things up with a fantastic event featuring Perdomo cigars. Escape the chill on Saturday, February 21st from 1 to 4 p.m. and enjoy a Nicaraguan cigar celebration. Food, drinks, and specials on cigars. Experience Perdomo quality and value for yourself. Tobacco Cove at 3849 Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact, didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com, the rapid equity loan program, can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Now, am I safe to assume if I don't know it today, it's J. Cole?
That's Any Color You Like by Pink Floyd.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would not have recognized that.
Yeah.
In a million years.
Yeah, it's one of the instrumental tracks on Dark Side of the Moon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tony breaking it down.
Yeah.
You hit Tony right in the feels right there, man.
Well, when we had our favorite albums, when we had that conversation.
Yeah.
It is my favorite album.
It is. Tony can go deep cuts off Dark Side of the Moon with the instrumentals. Good for you, man. I would have told my kids that's J. Cole right there. Only
a J. Cole sample.
Only have one kid. Maybe it is. Maybe he sampled Pink Floyd. All right. Got a couple of questions about extensions. First of all, we talked about this, I think, off the air. We got to remember when the conversation took place. Can they, in terms of simple restructurings, they don't have a ton of guys that they can do it with. But one guy that they could probably lower the cap figure on is Trayvon Walker.
Absolutely.
If you sign him to an extension, you can structure it so that first-year cap number is extremely low, depending on how that is put together. What do you think about Trayvon Walker here? Coming up, extension eligible? Are they going to go that route? 3.5 sacks from one of your edge rushers. We know they believe he is intangibly rich. He's great against the run, super physical guy, hard worker. Everybody loves Trayvon. What's his future here in Jacksonville?
Look, it's tough. Trayvon's an edge player who does the dirty work, and he's kind of started to turn the corner as a pass rusher at times, but last season was a downstretch. Injuries played a big role in that.
No doubt.
But he had back-to-back 10-sack seasons, but where is his market value is really difficult to assess, because while he got those 10 sacks, he's not exactly the, it's third down, Trayvon's coming kind of guy. He's not the I'm going to win quick and get this sack. He's a power rusher who does get there.
Yeah.
And he applies pressure, but it's assessing what to pay him and where. Do you give him an Aiden Hutchinson contract?
Do you think he expects that?
I think think that's what he's going to look for.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to be looking for.
I'm looking for it too, Tony. I'm just not going to be looking that long.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think we're all looking for it.
We all are looking for it.
All won't find it.
I don't blame you, Trayvon.
We mentioned it earlier in the show. Spot Track, because he is, at the end of his contract, they do have a contract value on Trayvon too. 16
a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd sign up for 16 a year with Trayvon.
I don't know that he'd sign a deal for 16.
I don't think he would.
And that's the thing. So where him and his agent assess their value and the deal they're willing to take is going to be one of the hardest things that James Gladstone has to figure out over the course of his tenure. So I would expect, if I'm Trayvon's agent, I wouldn't tell him to even listen to an extension right now, because you're coming off of a 3.5 sack season. Go into that last year, I'm going to need you to go get me 10 at least. Like, you got to get me in the double digits. And then, but that's going to be a tough conversation probably for next offseason.
And even then, or if you're the Jags, well, we could tag him. Well, you could, but then the starting point for a new contract becomes the average of the top 5 players at his position.
Right.
And is he worthy of being paid like a top 5 player?
He is the dominant run stopper on the edge, which gives your defense a whole lot of flexibility. He can move around, and he does a lot of good things, and he's impactful on that defense. But when you start talking about the edge guys that you pay game changers. Is Trayvon like the splash play game changer that's going to show up in the biggest moment? Is he that guy? I don't know. He has all the athleticism to be. He's shown development over his tenure. Has he reached his ceiling? I have no idea. If he's at his ceiling, the player he is right now is extremely impactful and great to have on a defense, but he's not we got a game plan because Trayvon's coming guy right now.
On the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, can 1010XL go 1 week without lamenting Aiden Hutchinson? It's a natural thing to come up. When you're talking about Trayvon Walker and what contract he's going to get, and when Aiden Hutchinson has signed that extension, and nobody will bat an eye at that. If Trayvon were to get Aiden Hutchinson money, everyone around the league would go, what?
It's just a contract comparison.
Right.
Right now. It's not I completely understood the draft logic of what they were going for when they drafted Trayvon first. I have no problem with you. You were swinging for the fences. This guy is built in a lab. When he walked on the field as a rookie, I looked at him and said, oh, that's a big dude. I get it. I completely get it. But the contract number is the contract number. And now you have a point of, all right, here's where the market is. This is the last contract that was handed out in that realm. Where do you find Trayvon's value? Is it higher
relative to that? Right.
Because generally, guys expect, oh, well, he got this. I need to get a little bit more than that. So I'm the next highest. So you reset the market. I don't know if you reset the market there. It is just run stoppers don't get paid heavily.
Right.
Dynamic pass rushers do. And Trayvon is a good pass rusher, but I don't know if I would call him dynamic.
They did talk, and you can't read too much in all the season-ending press conference comments, but they did express like Trayvon's the kind of guy we want to have around here because he's got that DNA.
Yeah.
But you got to figure out what makes sense. Somebody here on the text line says, hey, I'd go 4 years, $100 million. Wouldn't go over that. I think that's not an unreasonable number for Trayvon. 25 a year. The top, like Garrett's now like 40, right? So Myles Garrett. So that's way below the top guy, but it's also not chump change either. I don't know. You could offer him that and he might turn that down, and put it that way. If he does and he's still on this roster, I think you're going to get a crazy, level of effort out of Trayvon Walker, spurred on by his team saying, hey, you got to go out there and show everybody what you are capable of being. And sometimes having a guy in that situation, Etienne was in a contract year, Devin Lloyd was in a contract year, played the best football.
You love a good contract year guy because he's gonna go out there and play his best. Look, I think Trayvon is absolutely fantastic and a dynamic football player, but finding his value and where that is in that edge world that they live in as far as like what it's worth, that's tough. And I don't know if anybody has the answer for that. Obviously, Trayvon's team wants to get the most they can get. So they're looking at the top, not Myles Garrett money. Nobody's getting that. But he's going to be looking for a hefty raise over what Josh Hines-Allen got, and 25 wouldn't be that much more. So it's just a tough situation to be in of James Gladstone, Trayvon's agent, I don't know that extension's coming this offseason. If I was Trayvon's agent, there's no way I'd listen to anything coming off of last season. I wouldn't listen.
Who will be in a Jaguar uniform longer, Trayvon Walker or Brian Thomas?
Ooh, that's a good question. That one's tough.
Welcome, Jamal St. Cyr.
that one's tough.
It is tough, right?
Oh man!
Like I think most people would say Trayvon.
I think Trayvon,
and they think they'll figure out a way to get something worked out with it, and they may in fact do that. Look, the value of getting after a quarterback with 4 guys, it's not like it's a new thing, but it just got re-impressed upon you with what Seattle was able to do. And that's why they were so successful defensively. It frees up the back end to play all kinds of multiple packages, do, blitzes from exotic spots. But the base of it is we can harass you with just our 4 down linemen, and you shouldn't be in the business of giving away good defensive ends in today's NFL.
You can't let those guys hit the market. It was the same discussion that we had around Josh Hines-Allen when his contract was coming up. Look, I think what we saw last year about midway through the season, Camp started going in his bag a little bit more, moving Trayvon inside, putting him and Josh on the same side. If that's the tip of the iceberg, and we see more of that this season once Trayvon comes back healthy, then that should prime it for Trayvon to maybe show, hey, look, I'm worth every dollar because this is what I provide from the versatility standpoint, allowing you to do and to be dynamic. I think to answer your question, I'd bet on Trayvon because I just keep going back to that playoff game. Playing 50% of the snaps as that guy, that's jarring. That's jarring to me. It's not like the Jaguars were playing with some monumental lead where they were just chewing up the clock. You were in a dogfight with Buffalo, and you took that guy off the field for half of the offensive snaps.
That's a very, I don't know if I've ever heard it put quite as succinctly as that, right? We've all looked at the ups and downs of Brian Thomas, but the bottom line, most important game of the year,
it's the one.
He's out there for less than half the time.
Yeah. Yep.
You know? All right, let's come back. Tony, we got to get in Travis Hunter here with Jamal St. Cyr. And since you mentioned Anthony Campanile, let's talk about how long these coordinators are going to be around and how important it was to keep that continuity for Liam Cohen and going into year 2 with his coaching staff. Couple more segments to go with Jamal St. Cyr. Still time for you to get in at 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines or the text line, which we've had plenty of your questions that we've passed along right here, designed by Lifetime Enclosures on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. The past comes to life in the present.
And the Jaguars are going to the playoffs!
The memories bridge the gap to the future.
From 27-0 to win the game!
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
You're locked in to Jaguars Today Thursday with
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Bro, have you heard about the hottest and newest sports league in town?
Vanguard Sports League isn't just VIP, it's the standard. Smoke-filled tunnel intros, cool benches with canopies, big scoreboards, championship rings, and convenient locations all across Jacksonville. Oh, and mascot potties there hyping everyone up every game. No wonder it's the talk of the town. Spring and summer registration now open.
Search VanguardSportsLeague.com today.
The riders who face Daytona Supercross are built different. Withstanding the most unforgiving and grueling track is not just a point of pride, but of pure grit and determination. This battle can only be felt in person. Witness the action unfold at the only place in Florida where the biggest names will battle it out under the lights. Daytona Supercross is built different. It's built for champions. It's built for fans. The gate drops Saturday, February 28th. There's only one place to be. Secure your tickets and trackside access at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
This is Victor Patel, CEO of North Florida Medical Center. Have you been in an auto accident? Are you feeling pain or stiffness? Our board-certified team has over 15 years' experience helping patients recover through chiropractic care, physical therapy, pain management, primary care, and neurology. Even minor injuries can cause long-term problems if left untreated. Schedule your free consultation today at nfmcjax.com. North Florida Medical Center, bringing the care back to healthcare.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
Hacker here. We're rolling towards March, and for most people, that just means better weather and more golf. For me, 2 years ago, this time of year was a life changer. Honestly, it felt like a lifesaver. That's when I started Awaken 180, and in 1 month, I was down 35 pounds. 2 months, 50 pounds. And no, it wasn't magic. It wasn't some miracle shot. I tried the meds. I tried the cutting carbs. I tried convincing myself I was fine. None of it stuck. Awaken 180 wasn't a trick. It was a solution, a real plan, a coach who didn't let me drift, and the weight just melted off. That's the only way I can describe it. And here's the best part that matters. It stayed off. I'm not bracing for it to come back. I've kept my 122 pounds off for well over a year, and it stayed gone. Have 35 to lose? Cakewalk. 50? Simple. If March for you is just another month, fine. But it could be your turning point. It was mine. Awaken 180weightloss.com.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, 7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Well, obviously, for me, the golden moment is just the fact that Jamal St. is in studio with me for the first time. You know, I'm not as lucky as Tony to have had Jamal in last year for full shows, so we appreciate your presence and hopefully much more of it throughout the offseason.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah,
It's been fun.
we love it, man, and I love the fact that you're a draft Nick. You know, we're learning about Jamal. He doesn't play golf. He is a gym rat.
Yep.
Loves covering the Jags. I don't know. What else is there to add, man? What do you want people, what do you want our audience to know about Jamal St. Cyr that they might not?
Hey, I got a couple dogs.
Okay.
I've been in Jacksonville for a little while. Absolutely love it here. I'm from New Orleans, so I will indulge on my New Orleans food. I love Mardi Gras time because I get me a king cake every year. That's my...
That's your one cheat?
That is my vice. Oh, one?
Well, all right. I don't know, man. You're a gym rat. You look like you're in good shape. I'm not trying to
ship in. I normally end up with like 2 king cakes that I eat by myself.
All right.
It is bad.
Fair enough. As a man after my own heart. I could eat some damn king cakes, too. I don't need to wait for Mardi Gras season to go off. All right. Let's talk about these coordinators. They did come back. They got, I think, legitimate head coaching looks, multiple interviews for both of these guys, multiple teams in terms of the Browns and Cardinals, multiple interviews with the same team for Udinski and Campanile, just for the sake of continuity and building and not having to start over with the, particularly on the defensive side, with the improvements they made last year. How key to the whole offseason was retaining those guys?
Huge. I mean, that was the key. That was your big splash free agent signing. That's bigger than, anything that they'll do from here on out. Continuity is huge, especially Coach Camp. Keeping him around, think about it for the defensive players. A guy like Antonio Johnson who caught fire last year. Think about this. He had played for how many different defensive coordinators? He started with Mike Caldwell. Mike Caldwell immediately leaves. Then you get Ryan Nielsen. Ryan Nielsen leaves. Coach Campanile comes in. And even if the schemes are similar, the coordinators ask you to do different things.
Right.
So they might ask you to play it a different way. Oh, handle this a different way, especially for linebackers. So for a guy like Foye, who's constantly shifting things, or for a guy like Devin Lloyd, if he comes back, or Ventrell Miller, continuity matters because now you know how you're playing this, and it helps those guys on that defensive side of the football a lot. So keeping Coach Camp around, huge win. Keeping Grant Udinski in the building, huge win. I think both of them are deserving of head coaching looks. I think both of them will be head coaches at some point in the league. These are probably one-year rentals because if the Jaguars do go out and win 13 games again this season, both of them are probably getting jobs.
I don't know if you saw it. We talked about it yesterday. Antonio Johnson on PFF's Top 101 came in player 53, bro. By the way, congrats to Devin Lloyd. He did break into the top 40 as we suspected, came in at number 32. What they said about him this morning, broke out at the perfect time in the last year of his contract, dominated with an 88.4 PFF overall grade. 27-year-old finished inside the top 10 in both coverage and run defense grades among all linebackers, putting his well-rounded skill set on display all season long. They have loved Devin Lloyd at PFF. Yeah. It basically his entire career. We'd look at him and we'd be like, I don't know. What's up with that? And then he'd be like, he's like the number 7 linebacker in the league. All right. And he played like it this year, to be sure. All right. Now, with that, Antonio Johnson, to circle back there.
Yeah.
You got him. Eric Murray, to me, we gave him some praise. I thought he was, all right, veteran, stabilized, good communicator. When you're pushing elite communication skills as the number one item on the agenda, I'm like, does he have any playmaking skills to go with? And he did, right? And he turned out to be a good player for them. Caleb Ransaw, complete unknown. Do you have any idea what the timetable is on him to be healthy?
I don't. It's a complete unknown for me. That foot injury, we saw him around the team. I will give him points for that. A lot. Sometimes you see those guys that get hurt during training camp and they disappear. You never see them again. They're not hanging out in the locker room. They're not around the team. Caleb Ransaw was around that team in the locker room every day,
which is a huge benefit for him.
Yes.
Because Tom McManus will tell you about it. He was one of those guys. You go on IR and you're like, it's next man up. We don't have time for you. Sorry, love you, bro, but you can't help us now.
I think back to Travis Etienne. I remember because he tore the Liz Frank as a rookie.
Yes, he did.
Comes back the second year, and we're talking about, are these first? Does it feel like you're a rookie because you didn't play last year? He's like, no, I saw it all last year. And actually, he said it was a little bit of a luxury for him to watch some of the things from the sideline, watch the struggles while sitting in the meeting room and see it all. From the side,
not directly being oppressed by the urban shadow,
not directly being involved.
Be one space removed from that, if I could. All right, so Ransaw, they know more about him than we do, obviously, but he was their second highest pick last year, so they're counting on him to probably win a starting job.
Got to.
Antonio Johnson breaks out.
Got to.
Eric Murray was good.
Yes.
Dewey Wingert's time here in Jacksonville done?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, it's a tough situation.
Anybody more Duval than Dewey on this roster, right?
No, it was always the Jags.
Yes.
He was that guy. He's been, and the story, you got to love it, from an undrafted free agent to the tenured guy in the locker room. But it does look like the time may have come to an end because, you got Caleb Ransaw, who's kind of the unknown, but you expect him to be at least competing for that starting job. You have Eric Murray still under contract. Yeah, you have Antonio Johnson, who kind of broke out. Don't forget about Rayon Lane, who gave them some solid snaps, kind of got in that safety rotation late in the year. So, and he was really good on special teams. So it's not out of the question that maybe Rayon Lane earns his way into that battle a little bit.
Tony's been making the point, could they consider Ransaw as a corner? I mean, he played nickel.
He did play a little nickel.
And in
with
college,
as crowded as the safety room could potentially be.
Sure.
With Ransaw, if they want to get him on the field, I don't want Antonio coming off the field basically ever.
That was the point, I think.
Right? Is more the big idea here is that's our guy. How do we surround him? Well, you've paid one of the guys. The other guy's a draft pick that you haven't seen for a year, but you had a plan for him. I think Antonio changes that plan. Potentially for what they want to do. Could he play more corner than safety for this football team?
I think the last thing the Jaguars really need is another guy in the nickel room right now, because you got Jordan Lewis, even if he's coming off an injury. Jarian Jones is best in the slot. We've seen that. Could Caleb Ransaw in a pinch be maybe the backup for Jarian or Jordan in that slot? Yeah, they need an outside corner more than anything, and I don't think Ransaw is an outside corner for you. And the one thing that Caleb Ransaw brings to that equation that none of the rest of these guys do is he has the speed, assuming he keeps it, coming off the foot injury, but he had the speed to really center field and be able to do what you saw Earl Thomas do back in the day of, oh, he's center field, you think he's out of the play, but to close, that closing burst was elite. The speed was elite. And those were the things that really attracted them to this guy who was a little bit of a conversion point from what he did at Tulane, from being a more slot corner, to your point, to being a safety. We'll have to wait and see. They really liked what they saw from him, like the progress he made over the course of training camp before the foot injury. Can he pick up where he left off and kind of hit the ground running? It just depends on how that rehab's going. Right now, I don't know.
And maybe he's center field while they get Antonio in the box more.
That's where Antonio's at his best. And that's where they were able to use him as that third safety a lot, almost that linebacker guy. I mean, think back to Texas A&M. He was playing that nickel spot for them because it was close to the line of scrimmage, had him in the box. He's a big dude, so he's able to fill in with the run. He's almost the size of a linebacker in the NFL, but he can move really well. So he gives you a chess piece. And Coach Camp loves those guys that are chess pieces because now you can just throw guys around.
What just eye-opening to see him get that recognition, though, is 53 on anyone's list of the top 100 players in the National Football League. Pretty good stuff. By the way, PFF has just released today numbers 21 through 40, so they're holding their top 20 back, but I think we've seen all the Jags we're going to see on the list. Trevor Lawrence is 72. Josh Hines-Allen what was he, Tony, like 49, something like 48, 49, something like that. Yeah. And, of course, you had Antonio Johnson at 53, and today at 32, they released Devin Lloyd's ranking among the top players in the NFL. All right, when we come back with Jamal, Travis Hunter will be the focus, the cornerback position, and we'll wrap up for the day here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for big number one Duval Ford. If you're looking for the best selection of trucks in Jacksonville, well, it's truck time at Duval Ford with Jacksonville's largest selection of brand new trucks with massive discounts, including over $10,000 off select models. That's right, savings you're not going to get anywhere else. Your next truck, well, it's waiting for you at big number one Duval Ford. How do you find it? Visit DuvalFord.com online or just swing by 1616 Casson Avenue today and look at that massive showroom. It is truck time at big number one Duval Ford.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey, Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street-legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit DynamicDrivesDesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Jaguars Today Thursday, brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Get your tickets for the Tom Coughlin J Fund Wine Tasting Gala. Join Super Bowl winning coach Tom Coughlin at VyStar Ballpark Thursday, March 5th and raise a glass to help local families tackling childhood cancer. Enjoy hundreds of wines from around the world and food from top local restaurants. Buy tickets and learn more at tcjfund.org/wine. tcjfund.org/wine.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is, but what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, big thanks to Jamal St. for hopping in this morning. Your head started bobbing now? Jamal's head started bobbing.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not even going to ask what this is. Just enjoy.
No limit. Come on now.
I think it was Mike Mitchell. We were just talking about who was that guy that I don't even know how we got on it. Back in the day, Raiders took him, I think, in the second round. And
we were just talking about how blind the dart throws are.
Yes, in the draft sometimes, and how Kuiper on the set. This was in the 2009 draft. Literally, didn't have a scouting report on him. And I'll say Kuiper, I'm sure he has tons of misses, but he's the kind of guy on the occasions we've had him on where you could throw the most obscure guy at him who's a sixth round pick or a priority free agent, and he says something about him, and it was Raiders are doing what here? He started. What did he start in 4 years in Oakland? He started a total of 9 games in 4 years. And he went on to play another 6 years in the league, so he was an okay player. Just probably wasn't the second round value. All right, Jags spent first round pick, second round pick, another first round pick, moved all around, got Travis Hunter last year. We know how it went. We know what Gladstone has said about look at the depth chart. What do you envision? What's the Jamal St. plan for Travis Hunter in 2026?
Travis is going to be a great corner. Travis is going to absolutely he is a natural cornerback on the field. I think perfect world, you sprinkle him in on offense, big third downs. You get him a handful of plays here and there, and actually this works out. I love the plan because I always thought, even looking back at him at Colorado, I know the big argument was, is he a wide receiver? Is he a corner? Is he both? I think the easy one for him, I think he is a natural cornerback. I think he is a great athlete at wide receiver. So that's the difference. And the same thing that makes him so dynamic at corner is why you play him at wide receiver. He has fantastic skills when the football is in the air. So he's going to lock down one side of your defense, and then you sprinkle him in a little bit on offense and some packages, and you can catch some defenses off guard. I think is a recipe made in heaven.
So let's presume he's got one of those outside cornerback spots. Yep. Jordan Lewis returns in the slot. As you pointed out, you feel like Jarian Jones is best playing out of the slot. So what's your answer at your second cornerback position, and how big of a need? Right now, Jones is on the roster. Braswell's on the roster. You don't have a whole lot beyond that. So where do you rank corner among the Jags' priorities?
It's pretty high. When you think about your two starting outside corners from last season are both free agents, it's a problem. You can let Jarian Jones compete at outside again, but when he was playing outside early in the season, kind of got benched, comes back, plays better on the outside, and then eventually when Jordan Lewis got hurt, ends up back in the slot. We'll see. I don't know. I know that Jarian is comfortable in that slot just from watching him as a rookie in a different scheme, and then last season under Coach Camp. You know you can trust him there. Can you trust him on the outside? That's a tough question. They would love to have Buster Brown back, but what's his market going to be? He might have played his way out of Jacksonville, which is bad for the Jags because he had a fantastic year in a contract year.
Yeah. Do you think there's any other? You already said you think Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne likely move on, price themselves out of the picture here for the Jags. Is there any lower level guy, Dennis Gardeck? Like who is the guy that you say, yeah, I think they'll figure out a way to get that guy back?
Quentin Morris,
the
reserve tight end who worked his way up. I think he's a cheaper contract that I think they're weak at tight end depth wise.
And it's not going to be a big demand.
It's not going to be a big demand. Dennis Gardeck, he has Jaguar DNA as they call it. He's a guy that I think they'll keep. And honestly, in that cornerback room, it wouldn't shock me if Greg Newsome's back.
Really? Okay.
It wouldn't shock me. I think Newsome, talking to him as they cleaned out the locker room, really wanted a little continuity to show what he could do. A 1-year prove it kind of deal would benefit both sides. For him, he gets to maybe try and put together some better tape to go and push his market to a higher level. For the Jaguars, you get a little bit of a stopgap and some comfort saying, at least we got this veteran guy here. Who knows if we grab a corner in the draft that can go and compete for that spot, but we know we at least have this guy in the room.
All right, great stuff today with Jamal St. Appreciate that, and hopefully many more conversations to come this offseason. RJ, let's play him in.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Matt Hayes taking position across the table from me. It just happened to be where that chair was located when you came in.
I was listening all the way in. You guys did a great job.
Jamal kills it, man. He does a great job covering the Jags and has for a while now, and we like him being a part of our coverage here. What's coming up on primetime today?
Talking Jags, we're doing a little draft. Look into the draft. We might get O'Halloran on today.
Oh,
today or tomorrow?
High Holy Day.
Today or tomorrow?
St. Cyr and O'Halloran the same day?
Right?
Kidding me? 1010XL. Where else would you go, baby?
The heavy hitters of Jacksonville is what we've got.
I feel like when you're done talking, you should hit a bell. I feel like we're playing chess or something. We're across from each other. I feel like we're squared off right here. Well, Matt, have a good show today.
I felt
Appreciate it, buddy. There he goes, Matt Hayes, XL Primetime, Big Surfs, Joe C, and the crew coming up for you for the next couple of hours. All right, Jamal, what's the next few weeks? You're not going to the Combine because the Jags are not going to the Combine. So what are the next couple of weeks look like for you in terms of trying to pull some Jaguar tidbits out of the air?
Hey, we're keeping our ear to the dirt. We'll try and watch as much of the Combine as possible and see, who's out there and where teams are popping up. But then those pro day circuits really get to going.
Yep.
So we'll be keeping an eye on what pro days the Jaguars are sending the brass over to, which I don't expect them to be heavy, roll out the red carpet kind of guys for, you saw the GM and the head coach. They're probably not doing all that, but they might show up at like Florida or something. And
sure.
Caleb Banks is a guy that I would expect them to be interested in if they could find a way to get in that range.
Right.
That's the tough thing.
Tony, we call it Gray Zabel season right now because this time last year you can get Gray Zabel in the mock drafts at least in the late third round, and then he went middle of the first, and so all these guys Tony and I are mocking along with RJ. We're like, yeah, we're not getting any of these guys, so at least not at the prices that we're trying to pay. All right, check out Jamal St. Cyr at J St. Cyr TV on the X platform. Check him out on Channel 4, and not infrequently here, hopefully on 1010XL as one of the great voices out there covering your Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, appreciate the time as always. Good to see you.
Appreciate y'all having me on. Full house today.
Yeah, it was a full house today. A little J. Cole. I'm expanding my horizons. Not really that much. Let's be honest.
You'll be a J. Cole fan by the time I come back.
By the time you come back, I will not have listened to any more J. Cole unless RJ played it and I didn't notice who it was, which is quite possible as well. All right, that's going to do it for Tony Smith and RJ Saunders. I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today. Tommy Mack in tomorrow. As we learned yesterday, his mom passed away. All of our condolences going out to the McManus family for their great matriarch going off to her eternal reward. But Tommy will be in with us tomorrow on the program from 10 to noon right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
I'm Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski. He wins. And you're listening to 1010XL, Jack Sports Radio.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
This is the kind of sandwich you don't rush. French dip at Firehouse Subs. Premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning. Stacked on a toasted garlic bread roll with hot au jus for dipping. For a limited time at Firehouse Subs.
If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts.
And at 1010XL.com.
Trained by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
When you're faced with damage in your home,